Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the National Timely Action Hour podcast. This is the show where we talk about everything from comic books to TV shows and everything in between. And my name is Aiden, and I hope that you're doing well today. So, in this episode, I'm going to be ranking the Marvel Cinematic Universe TV shows. This is just my personal opinion, so feel free to disagree with me. But counting down from 29 being my least favorite to number 1 being my favorite, let's get into this. At number 29, I have Marvel Zombies. What can I say? And I'm not going to get into spoilers here, but Marvel Zombies was just not what I had hoped it would be. At number 28, I have Ironheart. This really sucked, and I am not a fan of it. At number 27, I have What If. This had a lot of potential, but they squandered it, and it is such a shame, because the What If comic book series is so interesting. At number 26, I have Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. This is decent. I mean, it had potential, but it's just, one of those cases where they very poorly adapt source material, and they try to do their own thing and mix it with other things, and it just does not work. But I do think that the animation looks decent. At number 25, I have The Runaways. It was okay. I'm not the target demographic. I'm a man in my late 20s. This is for teenagers. But, there were some cool moments. Then I have The Defenders. Again, this was very disappointing, but there are some decent moments that I enjoyed. Then I have Agatha All Along, and I am not sure what I was expecting, but this was, there were some moments. I mean, Kathryn Hahn, who plays the lead, is always fun to watch. I think that she's a great actor, and it's always fun to see her, so that was a positive, but everything else, not a big fan of it. Then I have The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Again, squandered potential, but there were some cool moments. Following that, we have She-Hulk Attorney at Law. And as a big She-Hulk fan, I was disappointed, but there were some moments that I enjoyed. But for the most part, I'm not a fan of how this turned out. Excuse me. Then I have Eyes of Wakanda. This is an animated series like Marvel Zombies, What If, and Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. But Eyes of Wakanda has a different animation style, which I think is cool, and it focuses, on the history of Wakanda, which is cool because I love Black Panther. And it's just a great show in my opinion. But, not everything landed. Especially in the latter half, but, that's okay. Then I have WandaVision, which started off really strong, like Eyes of Wakanda, but also like Eyes of Wakanda ended poorly, but again, pretty decent throughout the entirety of the show. Then I have Cloak and Dagger, and this is, pretty good. I'm not the biggest fan of the characters from the comic books, so I wasn't really going in with high expectations, but I did enjoy a lot of moments in this show, and I think that the actors did a good job. At least the lead actors, because some of their line readings is a bit awkward, but, that's just from my personal opinion. Moving on to Inhumans. Again, not the biggest fan of the Inhumans, and it did have potential, but it just did not deliver. But it was decent. I especially like the guy who plays Maximus the Man. I forget his name, but he played Ramsay in Game of Thrones. He's a really good actor, in my opinion. Then we have I Am Groot, which is an animated series, which is, short episodes that just focus on comedy, and it's fun. Then I have the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, which is a TV special, and I think that it's a very fun, heartwarming Christmas story, and I enjoy it. Moving on, we have Iron Fist, and the first season was not that good, but the second season really makes up for it, because the second season is really good in my opinion. But I like Finn Jones as Iron Fist, and I like the guy who plays his best friend, whose name escapes me, but I think they're both good actors, and they fit the roles very well. But, yeah. Then I have Miss Marvel, which is a fun coming-of-age story for a young girl. And, again, I'm not the target audience of being a teenage girl. I'm a man who's 27, but, it is very cool to see people in the Pakistani Muslim community get a voice, and seeing Kamala's journey is very cool. Then I have Moon Knight, which is not very comic accurate, but it is entertaining, and I think that Oscar Isaac did a good job as Moon Knight. Then I have Echo, which is a show that I was not really expecting to like, but I did like. And seeing the Native American representation and getting the disabled representation as well was cool. But Alaqua Cox, who plays Echo, she does a really good job as the lead, and Vincent D'Onofrio as the Kingpin is always great. But, and also the actors who play Echo's family do a good job too. But, yeah. Then I have Loki, and Loki is a very good show. I was not expecting to like it, but I did, because it's very well written, and Tom Hiddleston as Loki is always great, and Owen Wilson is very good too. So, yeah. It's just that this sets up the whole Jonathan Majors Kang the Conqueror plot, which Marvel quickly abandoned after the scandal that Jonathan Majors found himself in. But that does not affect, how the show turned out, because I think it turned out very well. It's just that they didn't follow up on that. Then I have Wonder Man. This is season 1. As I record this, season 2 is yet to be released, but season 1 was really good, and I think that season 2 is going to be good as well. And Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, who plays Simon Williams, did a really good job. And, funnily enough, this made me actually care for Trevor Slattery, played by Sir Ben Kingsley. I mean, Sir Ben Kingsley is a good actor. It's just when we were introduced to his character back in Iron Man 3, I was very upset because it was a fake out, but this actually made me care about Trevor, and I was very surprised. Then I have Hawkeye. Again, Jeremy Renner is great, and I liked seeing Hawkeye's backstory, although I wish it were a movie instead of a TV show. And again, seeing Vincent D'Onofrio as the Kingpin is fantastic. But, yeah, overall, decent show. Then we have the TV movie Werewolf by Night, which was fantastic. I am so sorry, I cannot remember the name of the guy who plays Jack Russell, aka Werewolf by Night, but he does such a good job, and the other actors do great jobs as well, and I love the cinematography, and just everything about Werewolf by Night is fantastic. But there are some shows that I do find slightly better. And moving on, we have Luke Cage. And Luke Cage is great, in my opinion. The villains are very interesting. Luke Cage himself is very interesting. And, just a great show overall. At number 5, I have The Punisher. And, again, this is including the TV movie The Punisher: One Last Kill, and that 2 seasons of the show and then the TV movie are great, in my opinion. John Bernthal is fantastic. We get a bunch of Punisher villains like Jigsaw, Manucci, the Mennonite, I forget some of the other guys' names, but they're all great. And seeing how the Punisher goes on his journey from being, full of vengeance to being a reluctant hero to being a full-on, classic Punisher. I really enjoy that. Then at number 4, I have Jessica Jones, and this is fantastic. And I really, really enjoy Kristen Ritter in everything I've ever seen her in. Breaking Bad, Jessica Jones, Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23. I think that's everything I've seen her in, but she's great. And David Tennant as the Purple Man is great. We also get Nuke in Season 2. Then in Season 3, we get the Serial Killer, which is a very cool storyline. And, overall, great show. Then at number 3, I have Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. This was the first Marvel Cinematic Universe TV show. It lasted for 7 seasons. And that includes the miniseries Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Slingshot. Overall, great show. Clark Gregg as the lead is fantastic. The other actors in the main cast do a great job. We get a lot of cool villains. Overall, an incredible show. Then at number 2, I have Agent Carter. And again, very, very well written. I love Haley Atwell as Peggy Carter. And overall, definitely recommend it because it follows up right after the first Captain America movie. So that's really cool. And at number 1, I'm sure you've already guessed it, but I have Daredevil, and this includes Born Again, which some people say is a separate show, but it's basically seasons 4 and 5 as I record this, so they're filming season 6, or Born Again season 3, but I call it Daredevil season 6. But Daredevil is the best show in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, in my opinion. It is so well written, except for season 4. It is so well acted. The action scenes are great. Everything about it is fantastic. If season 4 is the only weak season, then that's great, because some of these other shows had weak seasons, but that's okay. And it's okay that season 4 is weak, but it's, if every season except one is a 10 out of 10, that's fantastic. But that's all I've got for you today on this episode of the National Timely Action Hour. Once again, my name is Aiden. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to listen to this episode, and I sincerely hope that you all have a wonderful day. Goodbye.